kindergartners, welcome back. We are on chapter 4 of My Father's Dragon, and the story got pretty exciting this last time because the little boy actually made it to Wild Island. So if you remember, if you want to get out your map or get out your checklist, you can pause me, go find it, come back. We marked his journey. So remember, he traveled in the ship. He landed on the island of Tangerina, and he went over the rocks at night and landed on Wild Island and fell asleep. We also started marking off on the back the things that we read about that he used. So we marked off that he used his black rubber boots. We marked off that he used one rubber band. He didn't use the whole pack. And we marked off that he used the empty grain sack labeled cranberry. So we'll keep this with us and we'll see if there's anything else that we need to mark off today. All right, so when we left him, he was asleep on the island, okay? I'm gonna scoot you guys a little bit more forward so you can see. I'm in this tiny little spot in our classroom, our read aloud spot, okay? The jungle began just beyond a narrow strip of beach. Thick, dark, damp, scary jungle. My father hardly knew where to go, so he crawled under a wahoo bush to think, and ate 8 tangerines. The first thing to do, he decided, was to find the river, because the dragon was tied somewhere along its bank. Then he thought, if the river flows into the ocean, I ought to be able to find it quite easily if I just walk along the beach far enough. So my father walked until the sun rose, and he was quite far from the ocean rocks. It was dangerous to stay near to them because they might be guarded in the daytime. He found a clump of tall grass and sat down. Then he took off his rubber boots and ate 3 more tangerines. He could have eaten 12, but he hadn't seen any tangerines on this island, and he could not risk running out of something to eat. My father slept all that day and only woke up late in the afternoon when he heard a funny little voice saying, "Queer, queer, what a dear little duck. I mean, dear, dear, what a queer little rock." My father saw a tiny paw rubbing itself on his knapsack. He lay very still, and the mouse, for it was a mouse, hurried away, muttering to itself, "I must smell somebody. I must tell somebody." Uh-oh. So he's been seen. The mouse now knows that he's there. My father waited a few minutes and then started down the beach because it was almost dark now and he was afraid the mouse really would go tell somebody. He walked all night and 2 scary things happened. First, he had to sneeze, so he did, and somebody close by said, "Is that you, monkey?" My father didn't know what to say, so he said, "Yes." Then the voice said, "You have something on your back, monkey." And my father said, "Yes," because he did. He had his knapsack on his back. "What do you have on your back, monkey?" asked the voice. My father didn't know what to say, because what would a monkey have on its back? And how would it sound telling someone about it if it did have something? Just then another voice said, "I bet you're taking your sick grandmother to the doctor's." So my father said, "Yes," and hurried on. Quite by accident, he found out later he had been talking to a pair of tortoises. You know what a tortoise is? It's a turtle. The second thing that happened was he nearly walked right between 2 wild boars who were talking. So there's 2 wild boars. And there is the little boy hiding in the ferns. Can you see him? So he almost walked right between them. And they were talking in low whispers. When he first saw the dark shapes, he thought they were boulders, giant rocks. Just in time, he heard one of them say, "There are 3 signs of a recent invasion. First, fresh tangerine peels were found under a wahoo bush near the ocean rocks. Second, the mouse reported an extraordinary rock some distance from the ocean rocks, which, when he went back on further investigation, wasn't there. However, more tangerine peels were found at the same spot, which is the 3rd sign of invasion. Tangerines do not grow on our island. Somebody must have brought them across the ocean rocks from the other island, which may or may not have something to do with the appearance or disappearance of the extraordinary rock reported by the mouse." So the boars are talking about a recent invasion. And an invasion means when somebody comes onto your island. So they think that there's an invasion. And the reason that they think this is because they found tangerine peels. And tangerines don't grow on Wild Island. They only grow on the island of Tangerina. And then the mouse went and told them and said he felt a rock. Remember, he was feeling the little boy's backpack. And when he went back to see the rock again, the rock was gone because obviously the boy had put it on his back. So the boars are thinking that something is wrong. They think someone must have come to their island. After a long silence, the other boar said, "Oh, I don't know. I think we're taking this all too seriously. Maybe those tangerine peels floated over here by themselves. And you know, mice don't always tell the truth. They're very unreliable. Besides, if there had been an invasion, I think I would have seen it." "Perhaps you're right," said the first boar. "Shall we retire?" Whereupon they both trundled back into the jungle. Well, that taught my father a lesson. And after that, he saved all his tangerine peels. He walked all night and toward morning until he came to the river. Then his troubles really began. And there's the tortoises that thought he was the monkey. So we don't really know where he is, except we can use the clues of the words to maybe follow along on our map. He didn't use anything in his knapsack during this chapter, but it does say that he walked all night and toward morning came to the river. So if we look right here on our map, you can see, if you look really, really closely, here are the tortoises and here are the boars. So we know that he must have started here and been going this way, and then he comes to the river, and the river is right here. So what I'm thinking, and you might be thinking the same thing, is that if we take our marker, we can, let me see if I make sure you can see. If you outline along the bank, this is called the bank of the island, and it looks like he made it to all the way over here somewhere. Because this word right here that starts with an R is river. So he's going to be going to find that dragon. So he's probably going to want to walk along the river, right? So you can start using your X-ray eyes to see what animals he might start to see while he's on Wild Island. Now let's see, I also have some more words to add to our chart. You know that we are looking for the dragon because that's what our story is about. So the dragon is a big part of our story. But in this chapter, we also met the mouse. He was the first creature that we met on Wild Island. And then the next creature that we heard on Wild Island were the tortoises, which I'll have to put over there, right? And then the boars. Okay, actually I'm gonna move dragon because we really haven't met the dragon yet. So I'll put the dragon over here. Let's put tortoises over here. So these are the 3 different kinds of animals that so far the little boy has come in contact with. So first, remember the mouse touched his backpack and then went to tell the boars. And then the tortoises heard him going through the bushes, the jungle, and thought that perhaps he was Monkey. And then we heard from the boars. Remember, he almost walked right in between them, but then he just hid and listened to what they were saying. And they were the ones who taught him not to drop his tangerine peels. So thank you for joining me today or tonight, whenever you decided to watch chapter 4. And come back tomorrow and join us for chapter 5, which is called My Father Meets Some Tigers. So you could look on your map and see where that's going to be. All right. Thanks, guys. There's no place like home. Bye.